starring Joan Rivers. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Joan.
Today we have a very good show. Today we're going to be discussing life in Russia as compared to life in America and what they have better than us and what we have better than them and the whole thing. And with us to discuss it is the wife of the consul, permanent consul for the United Nations from Russia, and I'm going to pronounce her name wrong, and then she'll explain it to me. We'll pronounce it right. But it's Dr. Inisa Advid Koslovskaya. So far, okay? Now wait. And our guest with us is Roberta Peters. We can't do it to one without the other. But have any of you been to Europe, number one? Anybody here been to Europe? All right, one, that's interesting. Two, yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the room. Any been to Russia? And you have, that's fascinating, yes. I was to Russia. It's I went to Europe 3 years ago. Loved it except for one thing, filled with foreigners, you know? Just filled with foreigners. They talk different. What?
How did you like the bratwurst they served?
I adored it. No, the only thing I didn't like about it, the trip was expensive. See, originally I was going to go 14 days, 13 nights, and then it really started to, pile up. So I went for 14 days, 2 nights. And you have to compromise, And I loved Russia. And before I went there, we don't know that much, right, about Russia? What do you know? Russia, put it in the crossword puzzle. To me, I thought Karl Marx was the fourth brother who played the harp. I didn't know. Did you know? No, she didn't know either, did you, Blondie? No. And then I went and I found out we are so alike. You know what the number one program in Russia is today on television? It's about a Russian cosmonaut. It's called Tsar Trek. Show, you all know the Russians adore circuses, right? You've always seen the circus, the bear and the whole thing, And I went there, and the circuses in Russia are superb. We saw one thing fascinating. Are you ready? Come here. We saw the leading trapeze act in all of Russia. Great act. It was a married couple. The guy was supposed to catch the wife in the act. And he did. Unfortunately, we didn't see it. It was before the show in the dressing room. But there was quite a stir in old Russia at that time. That you liked, didn't you, mister? But the most amazing act in the entire circus, they had a tightrope walker. He had to walk the tightrope 5,000 feet above our heads. Isn't that amazing? And that tightrope walker performed without a net. We have with us a charming lady. She's the wife of the consul for the United USSR, which is just Russia to us. It's their permanent mission to the United Nations. She's also, besides just being the wife and being a mother with 2 children, she is an MD and a PhD, and she's just delightful, isn't it? Yes. Everybody's so great. And would you pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, please. My name is Mrs. Avdeyev Kozlovskaya.
It's Avdeyev. And our other guest, it's a return visit. She's performed in Russia. She's performed everywhere in the world. She's a magnificent singer. One of the most beautiful. You're a Coloratura soprano, right? Voices. I've seen her at the Met many times. Miss Roberta Peters. And you performed in Russia. Where?
Yes, I performed in 5 different republics. I was in Moscow and Leningrad, in Tbilisi, and a few other places. But I spent 5 weeks there as a guest of the Russian government. And it was one of the most fascinating. As you said, it's a magnificent place. And, you know, most people don't know what Russia is. I heard you talking to your audience before. It is enormous. We think the United States is big, but it is so vast. And the terrain is so different. We were talking backstage about Leningrad, for instance, is in the north, and it reminds me very much of our place like, for instance, Minneapolis. You know, that kind of terrain.
One person.
Someone from Minneapolis? Hello.
Either Minneapolis or Leningrad, you don't know.
But then we also went down to Belize, which is down in the south, and in the Georgian, I think it's the Georgian Republic,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is Georgia.
It was near where Stalin was born, too.
Yes,
Right.
he was born in Belize.
In Belize or
Yeah.
in Gori? I thought it was in Gori. Or he lived in Gori.
He lived in Gori,
Which is a little town nearby.
No, that's all right.
Have you been-
You are right.
And the
He
Georgian
was
men...
born and studied in Gori. That's right.
Yes, because I saw the
But
little
it is
house,
close
I
to
thought,
there, yeah.
where he was born and where his...
Is it a tourist
Did you
attraction?
visit?
Yes, it is. I
Gori?
visited
Did you-
Gori,
oh.
yes.
Do you have tourist attractions like that the way we do? Like, here's the house where this one was born. Do you have to pay to get in?
No.
See?
That you don't
That's
have.
one for them so far.
Something different.
Yeah, we can't get in anywhere without, as you well
No,
know.
you have some free museums also.
Very
like
few.
Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Yes, but yet when it's a very good exhibit, you pay.
Yes, that's
Oh,
true.
that's
You do
okay.
sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you gone all over, like Roberta's describing Russia, and it's so huge. Have you been all over Russia?
Myself?
Yes.
Yes, I have been a lot.
Because Americans very often I have never seen the Grand Canyon. I have never seen the Northwest. There are so many sections we never get
Oh,
to in
that-
our country.
that's
No, we
very
like
true.
traveling, Now it is the most favorite type of vacation. People travel a lot. They travel by cars. They travel by bicycles. They travel just by feet.
That you don't see around here.
But it's not easy to get around to the really far parts, is it?
Yes, but
For
you can
too many
be
Russian
be
people?
brought there, and then you can travel there.
But-
We have a lot of this tourist company which help you for free. They made all arrangement for you, always, and
For free.
just for free.
For Russians or for outsiders too?
Oh, we have a special in-tourist bureau, which is for foreigners. But for Russians, we have inside country bureau. It is great net of this bureau.
Yeah.
And they can, if you want to go to Far East, just go to some of such bureau, and they say how can you arrange it, and maybe even to help you to meet the other people who also want to go there, and then arrange everything, and they help for free.
Well, what I loved in Georgia, especially in Belize, this little town, were the men. I have never seen such gorgeous men in my life. They were more Latin, aren't they? The men over there.
They
They're
look like
tall and dark, and with their dark mustaches,
Spanish or
That's
maybe
right, I thought so.
Italian a little bit.
Because you always think a
Very
Russian man is-
attractive, I must say.
And very polite, and they're very nice gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they are.
Indeed.
We're talking about men and everything, but I was just sitting here, as you were talking about, I was thinking, you're a working woman, I'm a working woman,
Yes.
you're a working woman. But for an American woman, after she's had children, to go back and work, it's very unusual. In Russia, is that the same thing, or is that different?
No, it is different.
It is different. Does every woman work?
Not every, of course not.
I mean, you don't have
If you
to
don't
work.
like, you can stay home. But not so many like this.
Why is that? Because I think if anybody had a choice, wouldn't you rather stay home if you didn't have to work?
No,
I'm not talking about a glamorous career. I'm talking about getting up every morning and saying, what do you want, and measuring fruit somewhere,
But I don't think so. I was traveling here a lot. And I had chance to see a lot of women here and chance to talk to them. Very simple, I was visiting in many homes. And I didn't have this impression that they are home because they want to be home. It looks for me rather they home because they have to be home. Because of children, mostly of them because of children. And it is interesting for us that many of them come back when children go to college or when children start their own life. They come back, they go to college, and they start to make themselves, And
I think in
this
Russia-
is unusual for us.
Yes, but in Russia, the women had to work, didn't they? After the war, there were so many men who were
Oh,
lost.
that's-
After,
yes.
Even in 1960, when I was there, I was amazed to see women doing what in a way, we would consider some men's work.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? Up on the
that's right.
roofs and doing all kinds of
Yes, that's right.
work. Because I think a lot of the men were lost.
Yes. Who takes
had
care
to
of the
take
children? We
over.
have the regular child care centers.
We have kindergarten for small children and nurses for even smaller children, and I don't know, creches. How do you call them? You know,
Yes.
for children of 2 months and older to
Nurseries, we would call them.
Nurseries.
yeah, and nurses a lot. And then for school children, we have prolonged day, we call this. It means when mother are working, they went to school, they are through with their study, and then after study, they still stay there until mother will not come to take them. And they have the whole program of
But
the...
isn't this terrible? I always wonder about this with children that don't see the mother that much, that are left so many times all day to be taken care of just by strangers. You know, how it affects the whole... Can we discuss this after the commercial?
Yes.
How it affects if there's a generation gap or if there's a teenage problem.
Okay.
And all this in Russia. So we'll be back after this message. Hello.
Okay.
We're back with Mrs. Avdave and Miss Roberta Peters. Is there a tremendous problem the way we're starting to have in this country, generation gaps? And...
No, you know, this is quite different in our country. And you started with the other question, how it influences children and mother-children relationship, you know. I think it is very healthy because it is such psychological problem. If you are too much time with somebody, you know, somebody becomes to borrow of you.
Yes,
And I think the same problem with children. They have to need you. And to need you, they have to have some problem of time with you, I think. And I can say about my family. I have 2 children, and my son is 19. It is just perfect age for generation gap. But we definitely don't have it. But of course it is not example, you know, because you will find a lot of family here which have no generation gap at all. They don't have problem with children. But as usual, we don't have it.
What about you, Roberta? Now, you're away very often, and I'm sure...
Yes.
I know I die, I go away, I leave the baby, I'm in tears the whole...
Yes,
you know.
and they resent it. I
Yes,
find my
yes.
children resent it very much when I'm away. I try to be home as much as I can, but it is difficult. I do have to travel, but I've limited it. I try not to
too.
go away for long, long periods. I find that is the hard thing. I can go away for 2 or 3 days at a time and then come home and be home with them a week or 2 weeks, you know, and then be able to go again, at least for a few days. But mine are still younger than yours, I
Yeah.
think. How old are
Yes,
yours?
quite young.
19 and 12.
Mine are...
You started earlier than we did.
Yes.
I changed the subject a little bit, but I made a joke in the monologue about having Russian television and Star Trek, ha ha ha. And do you have like commercial television the way we do?
Not as much as here. Here you are, the first time you are shocked, the second you are surprised, then you are used to it, but
What-
they don't have this, you know, custom to interrupt the program, especially when you are interested in program.
They
It's
don't have sponsors, do they? They don't have a sponsor to sponsor. I think it's...
no, it is
Run by the
no,
state.
It is run by the state, and that's it.
But do you buy any American programs and put them on? Like I know I Spy is all over the world now. Someone told me
No, we
Bill
don't.
Cosby's opening his mouth in Japanese is coming out. And I just adore that, you know, the cultural thing is getting so confused and mixed up.
Yes, that's right, but we don't have too many. Of American, I don't know that we had at all. And
I can tell you they're great concert goers. They spend a lot of time going to concerts, and they have
Oh, yeah,
lovely
that's
concert
right.
halls in
Yeah.
small towns
Yes,
and
that's right.
big towns.
Concerts and ballet. It seems like all
and
the
theater, drama.
theater,
Oh,
and
drama is very
poetry. You know, your
Literature.
poets are so renowned over there and known, and they have poetry meetings. You don't find this here. You know?
And there's
No.
some live contact. You know,
Yes.
you get the live contact with the performer. It's so great. And when they love you, they applaud together, you know, in unison. It's the most exciting kind of thing. Really, just talking about it gives me goosebumps because you don't see it very often, as you do in Russia. Is that, am I right? They do it?
They do it, and I think this is not occasionally or just not just custom to do it. It is expression of real feeling. You know, people
Yes,
in
that's what
Russia
I mean.
warmer.
They're very,
That's
you
interesting.
You can feel it. That
They're warmer than
much
Americans, you
they're
think?
warmer and they're closer to each other.
But what about an outsider?
And towards, oh boy,
Oh,
they're
yes.
very hospitable.
They are. I
And
can
very
attest to
warm
that.
and curious. And that's together.
Did you
It
find
makes,
this?
I found them very warm. The average person, the
Yeah,
average
that's,
Russian, the Russian people are very warm. And I think, unlike you do, that they're very much like us. I think we've become sophisticated because of everything that's going on around us. But I think together, as a people, we are very similar. We are.
You don't find that?
I think
No,
that we
I don't
cry
say
easily
so.
and we
I-
laugh easily, and it's just,
Yeah, I
Same
can
with them.
say that in our custom, we have a lot of similarities. People are much simpler in relationship than in Europe. They are less restricted. It is very easy to talk to people just into the street. But
Here in New York, you talk to someone, they give you your pocketbook automatically. Which way to the bus? Here.
I
Don't touch me and harm me.
Yes, but I don't talk only about New York because I have traveling a lot around the country and I mix it together. West Coast and East Coast.
Did you find them warmer in any sections than others?
Yes, East Coast definitely
Is warmer
is warmer here.
than the West Coast.
And they are more communicative, I think. And their social life is less official and more friendly.
Because it's funny, it's to hear. What was the one thing that you came the first time from Russia
Yeah.
that you, as a woman, say like astounded you the most, or was the most strange thing for you?
The most strange thing
Yeah, like supermarkets or.
I can say, I came here in August. It was awfully hot. And New York is not a nice city
No.
for August, And the things which I immediately caught, were two dresses, unusually bright, and subway, awfully
oh, that's
hot,
right. You have,
noisy, and dirty.
you have the most beautiful subway in Moscow. I'd forgotten about
Do
it.
they have a great? Have you been in
Oh,
it?
with chandeliers, ladies and gentlemen. Would you believe it? The most beautiful subway in the world is
What's
in
the
Moscow.
joke? But no trains. Remember those jokes? Yes, their subways are supposed to be just magnificent.
Yes, it is, and
the
of course
dress.
it is striking difference when you drop in subway here,
Ah.
and you are expecting air conditioning as we do have in Moscow, and instead of this, it's like I don't know, oven.
Yeah, it's like, look out! It's always please, my foot's in the door. Too bad! Pick it up at Fulton Street. Just. What did you find, Roberta? Again, now, from your side, what astounded you the most again, or was the most striking thing the first time you went into Russia that you noticed?
That's very difficult. One of the things, a beauty parlor. I went in to get my hair done, and I was told to perhaps bring my own curlers and my own bobby pins and things like that. And they had never really seen these kind of things
Yeah.
as I had them. This was in 1960. I'm not talking about now, because I've been there.
No, that's
a
all
while.
right.
And I think that was one of the most surprising things. They were just getting the regular dryers, that
Yes.
we have. They had pipes, and things that the old-fashioned dryers.
Oh no, now they have the
Now I'm
same.
sure they
yeah,
do.
they have the same hair dryers as here because it's all over the world already.
Yes.
Yes.
And of course they have rollers, but here you have, I think, 1,000 kind of rollers.
That's true.
Sometimes you are in difficulty to get what do you want,
Yes.
and they don't have so as much. And
That's true.
at the same time, they don't like to hurt you somehow. And because of this, I'm sure they ask you if you have your own, to which you used, because might
Well,
be
they
you will not
didn't-
like it.
They didn't have, because I asked them before.
that's
I
right.
didn't want to, kind of push myself and my own things on them. I thought I'd ask them what they had.
But again, it's a politeness of saying, if you prefer your own, use your own. Where
yes,
in New York, they just say, that's it, and here's the check. We'll be back after this commercial in a few minutes, so don't go away. Back talking to Mrs. Avdave and Miss Roberta Peters. I'm starting now to put in things. May I ask you something? If somebody wanted to go on a tour of Russia, say, I
Yeah.
wanted to go, how do you start to plan it? Do you call the embassy? Do you call just a travel bureau? What is the easiest
way to get there.
Yeah.
We have a special bureau, which can help everybody. It is Intourist, which is here in New York, and I'm sure they have representative in different places also.
California, Chicago.
And of course in other countries in Europe. And you can go there, and they make all help which you need.
What if you don't? Do you speak Russian at all, Roberta?
No, I don't, but they provide a guide. We had a woman guide who spoke English beautifully, and was able to show us what we wanted. In fact, she was with us every single minute.
So that you could never get lost?
To order food and everything.
Yeah.
We couldn't order
And
it.
even when professional people coming to us, we used to that fact that they don't speak Russian usually, and we used to greet them and to take care about them. It means if people come to our institute, somebody of us take care about this person from the morning to the evening.
But isn't it going to be more and more as more tourists start going? Again, it's this tremendous,
A lot. Now
you're going to have like one guide for 2. There's one guide for 6, and pretty soon there are going to be people walking around with the book saying "Das Vidanya," and just hold it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's going to be what's going to happen.
I think that there is great interest here in our country, the same as the great interest in our country about America, and we have a lot of tourists every year, and I know that people, you can feel it, because after trip to Russia, these people forever become friends of Russia. It means they were happy there.
Are you going back? Have you
Yes,
made
I'm
it?
going back to the Bolshoi Opera.
Oh,
Which is
that's
very
sensational. How are the prices compared? Do you remember?
I think they're quite inexpensive as
Yeah.
compared to our
Which is another good
Tickets.
reason to take a tour.
Oh yes, it is. It is the other thing which drove me here.
How
The prices of entertainment and other.
Well, this whole country, I think, is so expensive to travel unless you're very rich.
Yeah.
It costs you $7 by $5 a day. The book, I think. I want to thank
Yes,
Mrs.
that's-
Avdev so very much. A pleasure to have you on the show. And Roberta Peters, anytime you're on the show, it's always delightful. You'll come back again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
If
tomorrow.
you'd like to see the show when you're in New York, write Joan Rivers tickets, Box 850, Radio City Station, New York, 10019.